Good day. With Doom 2016 over and Wolfenstein: The New Order not being altogether that well optimized for AMD hardware, we're going to play something that I want to play, and that of course is Zig McCall's Brutal Wolfenstein. Now, for those of you who followed the Let's Play channel when I used to post there all the time, which sadly just don't have enough time to run two channels at the same time, I already did a Brutal Wolfenstein version 4.5 waiting for version 5 Let's Play. This is actually of the version 5 demo, and by the great hammer of Grabthar has Zig McCall or whoever, or whatever the team is. I think it's an actual team, not just the one guy anymore. They've done a great job, really upgrading and updating Wolfenstein 3D. Wolfenstein 3D is a very, very difficult game to play now. It's not hard to get working, but you know, I've done a Let's Play of Wolfenstein 3D. You just check the backlog. I did the entire first episode, of which this is a remake of, and I didn't dislike it back then. I don't dislike it now, I guess is the best way to put it, but I liked it a little more back then. One of the big problems with Wolfenstein 3D is just the fact, and I think my R key is not bound. Let's take a look, shall we? One of the big problems with Wolfenstein 3, well, there's weapon reload. Let's just scroll down here. Yep, reload is not bound. That's something, whenever you are trying to play Brutal Wolfenstein, Project Brutality, stuff like that, you're going to have to scroll down, because it'll say weapon reload, but it won't actually do anything. You have to scroll down to the actual options here. For the longest time, I was like, I can't get it to work anymore. And then I finally got a comment that explained how to get that to work. And I highly appreciate that. I forget which comment said that, though. Because it was a long... I ran out of ammo again. Really? Give me the old F6. And I stopped the record. I'm going to get shot. Now I'm going to stab him. I actually stopped the record because I hit the wrong enter key. Alright, finally. I don't know what is with me and Wolfenstein and just not ever having any ammo. That's just weird. But whatever. Where was I? Yeah, I don't remember which comment that was that explained that, but for the longest time I couldn't figure out how to make that work. As you can see, we do not have stripper clips whenever we have a partially filled mag. I love that. You know, so many games that have, you know, millions of dollars put in them don't have that, but this game, a fan game, of course it does. Oh, but the fans, ladies and gentlemen, they always end up making things that are way, way, goddammit, better than what most of the major developers can do. You know, what's funny is I just don't really play that many modern games anymore. The most recent game I'm playing as of this recording, really, wow, super dog, just one paw swipe, and I'm only at 1 health, shit. Aren't I trying to be a pro MLG or something? That dog just hit me once and I just blew up. You know, hopefully I can find some dog food and make myself feel just a little better. But let's see, where was I? Yeah, the game I played the most recently is, of course, the 2 Quake expansions. Now, see, this is going up all the way in June. Oh, wait a minute! This might actually be going up around the same time that the Quake videos are going up, so I probably don't want to spoil that. That's the thing about doing backlogs. I like to work whenever I get a chance to do it. That way it can be done. I don't know what is with my overall gaming skill. Give me some dog food! Oh, four whole health, man. I mean, that was great. That makes me feel so good. Oh, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just modern games don't interest me altogether that much. I always end up playing all these older games just because modern game. The last modern game I really truly enjoyed was Prey 2017. I got to do something with that game because I liked it so much. Because it was actually a real game. That was an Arcane Studios game, and Arcane Studios do pretty good. I know that there have been a tremendous number of complaints. I should just leave that secret there and not even get it. I think if I smack that a couple of times, I'm not sure if it's this mod or something. Ah, it is this mod! You can get the axe. Another fan told me about that. I did not know that you could do that. And of course, we got Timmons' axe. I don't know what the Germans are doing with Timmons' axe, because it's not like Hexen takes place in our world. Although, what's funny, in the PlayStation 1 port of Hexen. It had these FMV cutscenes, and they just called the world Hexen. It's like, what's the name of the planet? We'll just call it Hexen. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's kind of like, what's the name of the Game of Thrones world? They call it Planetos because you got Westeros and Estos and... You know, I don't really like Game of Thrones. I'm pretty sure you guys are sick of me saying that, but god damn do I not like Game of Thrones. I don't like it because of what it has done to literally every piece of media. Now, since this is coming out in June, I gotta anticipate what's going on in June. Theoretically, that's when the first of the Star Trek Discovery videos are gonna post. That was meant to be Game of Thrones in space. That's great. 2 MP40 mags, sweet. See, this is a really, really cool game mod. I did a live stream of this, but I never finished it. And I just got completely killed by that bloody SS officer there. And he's supposed to be saying spion. Spion. Or, you know, I find it funnier if I think he was saying biatch over and over again. It's better than that. I don't know, is BJ really a spy, though? And I get that he's supposed to be like a secret agent, and secret agents are cool, but BJ does not really, he's 6 foot, he's like 6'8", weighs 300 pounds of pure muscle, and like, he's supposed to be sneaking around, huh? No one would ever notice him! But yeah, Star Trek, supposed to be Game of Thrones in space. That is not what Star Trek is meant to be. You know, it's not like, it's the future, man. Everything's depressing. Yeah, well, Star Trek isn't supposed to be that way, and, well, whatever. That's what they did, and I guess we'll be getting that second season, for better or worse. I can only imagine how much worse it's going to get. See, the thing is, I did not necessarily trust all the reviews saying how terrible it was, because I wanted to know how it was terrible. And ultimately, when I actually sat through it, I finally saw just how bad it really was. We're going to take the levels 2 at a time, ladies and gentlemen, since these are fairly short levels, as you can see, only about 4 minutes. The first level of any game has to be a good hook, and the first level of Wolfenstein is a very nice hook. It's easy, but still can be difficult, especially if you constantly get blown up by dogs. But, you know, there's no way to really prepare yourself for just how bad STD is, because you know, I had this fear. There was a fear that I might actually like it. The reason being is that I might not have noticed all the SJW crap. The thing is, it's not so much that you're going to notice the SJW crap. What you are going to notice instead is something a little different. Oh, look at that! It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I should probably use something other than the MP40, but it works so well. I'd love to have an MP40 in real life. I do know that some company is making a SBR semi-auto only version, but you know, somebody's got to repeal that Hughes Amendment. Somebody's got to repeal that, because I'd like to have a real one. Thank you very much. But oh well. It's not like full auto is even that big of a deal, but one thing that's kind of funny is I was at the range the other day, and there was a guy there. Dual wield time. There's a guy there who was just making fun. Somebody brought in a machine gun, because this is Texas, we can have machine guns, but you have to go through all the paperwork. You have to get the NFA tax stamp and everything like that, and you have to get multiple background checks. And one of the main reasons why, even if I had the money, I wouldn't get a machine gun, is because you have to allow the ATF to literally root through your house whenever they want. And I would rather not have the ATF rooting through my house. Just saying. I know that's probably makes me an evil Texan, but I'm not really into that sort of thing. So see, you can't just go out to your local Walmart and buy a machine gun, despite what the media, in all its myriad forms, will say. And a semi-automatic rifle is not a machine gun. Because if words don't mean anything, then I can just call a machine gun a phase plasma pulse rifle that literally every trigger pull blows up the entire world. But anyway, back to the old thing. Somebody brought in a machine gun. It was, I don't remember what it was. In fact, I didn't even know what it was, actually, because I did not actually see it, but I heard him shoot it. And it sounded really cool, but there was a guy there who was just making fun of it, like just spraying and praying. He just in there having fun. It's like, yeah. And I was trying to be nice, like, well, it's cool. It sounds cool. But that is the thing about some shooters will make fun of those who have like machine guns, not because they're FUDs or anything like that. FUD being a term for somebody who wants to ban all the modern day rifles, like the AR, which realistically, if you're going to ban the AR, you need to ban every basically, if you want to ban the AR, you need to ban everything. Because every gun can be dangerous, even a single shot. In practice, you can load up a single shot, god damn it, pretty quickly. That's something to always keep in mind. Like even a bolt action can be dangerous. That evil Lee Enfield, military-grade assault rifle, right? If you, with practice, can get 30 aim shots in a minute. You know, you got that mad minute, gotta ban it. Could be dangerous. So yeah, it's like, but anyway, FUDs don't like ARs. I don't know if they even like, they might not even like things like the SKS or something like that. So, but anyway, that has nothing to do with it. With what I was talking about. The guy wasn't a FUD, but he did have was of the persuasion that it's just a waste of ammo. And you know what? In many instances it is, but it is a lot of fun. At least I would imagine it is. I don't do mag dumps myself just because ammo ain't cheap. But I do think that if you can't afford it, it would indeed be a lot of fun to just go in there and blast. And you can get some good accuracy shooting bursts with a 9mm machine gun of some description. For some reason, I want to say the guy had an MP5, because the MP5 is one of my favorite modern day. Well, I say modern day. I think it's actually older than. I think the MP5 was from late 80s or maybe late 70s. I cannot recall, to be perfectly honest. But I always loved that bloody thing. They're very nice little submachine guns. You can, of course, get semi-automatic versions, but I just wouldn't pay the price for that. And in all reality, in most instances, if we're gonna need a compact. Oh yeah, instead of a multi-barreled chain gun, we of course have the STG-44, and it's beautiful. I am a big fan of the STG. There was supposed to be a reproduction made, but I've heard nothing about it. It was supposed to come out last year, but evidently nothing ever happened with it. I can only assume. Well, the big thing is, I didn't know this back in the day, but having watched a number of YouTube videos, evidently remaking some of these guns is not an easy prospect. So they might have just run into some sort of mechanical issue of some description, which is sad because I would have considered getting one of those once the price had hopefully come down. Now, one thing that's kind of annoying about this particular keyboard, it is sensitive to weather. I'm not even joking. Sometimes the E key just will not work. It's like here, the E key works just fine. Well, or maybe not, because the door's not shutting. But yeah, sometimes the E key just won't work. I don't understand it. It's really quite aggravating sometimes, especially when you're trying to write a script. There's so many words that start with E. It reminds me of the Simpsons joke. I didn't say E. That it does make writing a script rather difficult. But yeah, there's one thing that's cool that I discovered not too long ago, as of this recording at the very least. There's a Luger P08. Well, it's several Lugers reproductions. Specifically, there's even a 45 caliber Luger. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know how much a 45 cal Luger's gonna cost you? $5,000. Now, realistically, if you wanted a new or a legitimate Luger in 45, it'd cost you a lot more than that. But $5,000 for a Luger. Ultimately, I didn't buy one. Just in case you guys were wondering, I did not acquire myself one, and I can't imagine myself ever doing that. But still, though, $5,000. Can you imagine that? $5,000 for a pistol. Now, one thing you guys should be noticing, you guys better notice, is the fact that in this particular video, now this is the video itself is going to be running at 30 frames per second, but instead of 720p, it's 1080, and I swear the video file looks way better in 1080p for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it does. I used to like do 2-pass VBR on my 720 files. The 1-pass 1080 looks way better. So yeah, shit, toss grenade. Potato mash. Sour mash. Now, would have loved to have had the $1,000 at the time, which I didn't. But there were some Swiss Lugers that came into the country. I think they were either at $1,000 or $1,500. That's still a damn good price for Lugers. They weren't 9mm Lugers. They were, was it 7.65 Mauser? Something like that. It was one of those. I think a 30 caliber Mauser, whichever the metric definition of that is. Oh, I would have loved one of those. I'll tell you that, lads and lasses. But 1,000 or 1,500 still is steep for me, you know, when you got all the other concerns. And it's not like you can shoot it. Let's be reasonable, ladies and gentlemen. You know, like if I got a K98K, yeah, I'd shoot that, but I wouldn't be able to shoot it very often. Or if I got, or like my number 4 Mark 1, I've shot it a grand total of like maybe 10 times since I got it back in 2016. It's just not something you shoot very often. One of the things about rifles is the AR-15 is as good as in-range will lead you to believe. Which, incidentally, in-range was a influence on me when it came to that particular thing. Now, we got an MG40. Okay, so we still did not pick up any 7.92 by 30 whatever the fuck Kurtz. But the AR-15 is a really good rifle to shoot. Like, it literally... It's an extremely accurate rifle. Bullets are cheap. Well, for now, at least. The thing is, it's not like some sort of magic gun that will destroy everything, but, you know, ignorance is what it is, you know? If you tell somebody something's evil, then everyone will believe it, right? But whatever, ladies and gentlemen. AR-15 good. I wanted to get an AK, but, you know, it's just finding a good AK is not an easy prospect. Finding a good AR is much, much easier. Like, way easier. Finding a good AK, you know, for a reasonable price, not something you can just do anymore. AKs used to be cheap, but when they were cheap, I did not have the monies. It's a funny thing. It's like back, you know, in like 2007, 2008, you could get a Wasser 10 for like $300, but I didn't have $300. And then when Wasser 10s were $600, I didn't have $600. And then when I finally had the money for it, they were $700 or $800, and I wasn't gonna pay that much. So yeah. See, that's the thing about gun ownership. Is like guns ain't cheap, you know, and ammo ain't cheap either. Getting a good 22 is something I always recommend, you know. And good 22s are not that expensive, you know. Get a 10-22, get a good little 22 pistol, and that's honestly what you're gonna shoot the most, just because. When you can spend 20 bucks and have 500 rounds to shoot, I mean, that's where you get most of your practice. I'm a really big fan of my Star Model B, which is like one of the greatest deals of all time, but I don't even get to shoot that thing that much. And that's one of the pistols I like to shoot the most. And so, this is the Mighty General, wishing you good 10-22 and good Ruger Standard, whatever may or may not make you happy.